The internet's a jewel because he can sift through and knows instantly what's good information and what's not. But to somebody who's just getting into it for the first time, he doesn't know. You know, he's got to it takes time and effort to back up, you know, how come this story in 1974 is what they call a classic. He doesn't know why. Why is it better than this one here? And, you know, he's been in for 20 what did you say?
26 years.
26 years, over 26 years.
78, same time you did.
Well, yeah, 78. Yeah, time flies. But I don't have the files that he does.
Oh, and when I started, it was every time someone yelled Sasquatch, I was gone. You know.
Yeah.
I went on so many wild goose chases. It wasn't funny. You know. I mean, someone said they saw something. Well, they did. You know. Why would they make something like that up? Well, I found out. You know. I found out. You know. Publicity does strange things to people. A lot of people. And that's just the way. And we always got to repeat the mistakes. You know, Rennie said the same thing when he started in the 50s. Someone yelled Bigfoot, he was gone. And finally got to the point where he just didn't want to talk to anybody anymore. Well, I haven't gotten to that point yet. Hopefully I never will.
There's two aspects.
But I like to talk to people, and based on what they see, I think I can pick out things like, that didn't sound right. Hey, that's it, you know.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's right. See, to an experienced investigator, he can tell within 5 minutes whether this is an authentic type of sighting or encounter. And there's two aspects to this whole subject. One is historical evidence, and the other is field evidence, bushwork. That's my specialty. I do the bushwork. Tom has excelled in keeping records. Now the two of us can work together, because if I find something over here for the first time, let's say, and I'll wonder about it, is that associated with the Sasquatch in any way? This particular piece of evidence I found. Well, I can ask him, and he can go through his files. He says, "Oh yeah, 1969, somebody here found it and related it to a sighting." I say, "Okay, anything else?" Well, if he wants to put the time in, he can go and say, "Okay, 1984, somewhere over here." So then I'll begin to see, okay, this is an important area that I should maybe spend some more time in and find something else. And all this evidence, you know, is starting to get, like I said earlier, we're clearing up the picture, and it's becoming clearer and clearer, and we're eliminating a lot of the other stuff. So.
Yeah, you'll see if we come down here, I'll probably get in this powwow thing. I'll probably get in a few debates with some people down there, because there are a lot of what I like to call the sacred cows that I really don't have much confidence in. You know, I always question it, like Twisted Tree. You know,
oh yeah.
It may indeed have something to do with Sasquatch. But I've heard of, I've talked to hundreds of people who claim to have seen Sasquatch, and I've talked to a hell of a lot of people who find twisted trees. But I've yet to interview anyone who actually watched the Sasquatch twisted tree. You know, that kind of thing. A lot of the sacred cows I like to challenge. And I've gone to these theories, and I say, well, you know, there's something rotten in the stem of the tree. It's a small tree, you know, heavy snow that year. Breaks and twists them off. You know, that could be an explanation. So I'm highly cynical. You got to be a good skeptic when interviewing people, you know. But it's the ones you can't dismiss that are intriguing.
See, when you have the experience
of
20 some odd years, almost 30 years, you can ask questions of somebody who's saying that he's just seen a Sasquatch or he has one in his area because whatever. You can ask certain questions that other people haven't got that kind of experience. They would never ask. And that by asking those questions, you know if this is a genuine encounter or sighting or whatever.
Or at least the person believes they really saw something, you know.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, you know, the twisted trees, stuff like that. I've only seen that once. And by these records here that he has, we can go back in, we can find out how many times and where and when has a twisted tree been associated with a Sasquatch, right? Okay, I seen that once. But should I automatically assume that was a Sasquatch that did that? You know, out in the bush, I learn things every day. Animals do things that I thought they never could do, and they do things that they should be doing, and they're not. You know, the textbooks aren't perfect. The knowledge that we learn in school is not 100% accurate. There's exceptions to the rule. So there's a lot of evidence that we could say is Sasquatch related. But we can't, because we really don't know. But when you come across footprints in dirt that would take 600 or 700 or 800 pounds to make, then you've eliminated 90% of all the negativity, and it's got to be a Sasquatch. Okay.
Especially if they're found in an area where no one was going to leave them, knowing that someone was going to find them.
Like,
You know, I mean,
I've come across what you want to call crap piles, scat piles, whatever. So large, there's only two animals on the earth that could do it. One is a large grizzly bear, and the other is a Sasquatch. I've stood there, and I've looked at it, and I say, okay, we know the mentality of a grizzly bear, his habits, how they walk. They got, the paws that, when you track, quadruped. So you search the area, no sign. So you're thinking, no grizzly bear sign. That's odd, because we're in a riverbed, and there was sand, and there was rocks, and there was some foliage. All right, Sasquatch. Now, what are Sasquatch reported to do? They're historically, supposedly hide their tracks, right? So now we start looking for Sasquatch tracks, right? There's nothing in the sand where they should be. There's nothing in the foliage. The only way that creature to come in to make that evidence was that he walked on top of rocks where he couldn't be tracked. And that's the end of the story. It didn't fly in, and it wasn't a bird. He didn't fly away.
and he didn't disappear into the third dimension.
And we can go through the scat pile to examine what he's eating. It's there. It can be taken to the lab and examined.
The problem is the scat ain't the same as hair. Yeah, when they do DNA analysis on feces, they usually end up with the DNA of what the damn thing ate rather than what it came from.
That's right.
So really,
we thought that DNA was going to be the answer to the question, but it turns out it's not. It's just another brick in the wall.
yeah, because they haven't got anything to compare it to. Yeah, every DNA, they already have the DNA of a known species to compare it to, and say, yeah, this is bear DNA. Well, this is grizzly DNA. That one's a black bear. And they can do that, but without a Sasquatch, they've got a few samples where they don't know what it is. But,
Now, the people that question this whole field and the effort we do, their big, what do you want to call it, their big ammunition is, we don't have any bones. We don't have a body, don't have any bones. And I must admit that they have some weight to that point of view. However, and on the television and these other documents they have made, no bones are ever found, no bones are ever found. That's not true. I have bags of bones. They say you go out, you don't find any bear bones. I got bags of bear bones, deer bones, you name it, porcupines, whatever, because I live out there and I'm looking for this stuff. I have bones out there that went to the University of British Columbia down there, and they can't identify it. So, I mean, there are bones around.
talk about that.
And there's a big femur bone, and I have some backbones and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying it's a Sasquatch bone, because I'm not a scientist to do the hard evidence and the experiments to tell you 100% that this is the DNA makeup and this is a genetic code of a Sasquatch. I can't do that. It's not done yet. They need an actual living body cell to do that. And maybe someday it'll happen.
And to gather excitement, maybe a bone that would really stood out, like if they could find the damn skull or the jawbone, rather than a rib or a leg bone or something.
Yeah, so when we go out into the bush, we're not only looking for footprints, what they eat, scat, and the creature, we're looking for bones too. Okay? And if they do bury their dead, well, that's been, postulated that they might do that. We don't know.
It could be. It also could be most animals when they're dying, they don't really know they're dying. They just don't. They know they don't feel right, so they find some place to lay low till they feel better. Yeah. That's instinct. And while they're lying low, they die. And they're half buried anyway. I mean, and the Pacific Northwest, it's not very conducive for fossilization. The soil is so acidic, and animals and insects and porcupines and nature's disposal system works very quickly.
It does, but not in every case, because I've done experiments. I'm a bear hunter and a trapper. I've shot bears, and the last bear that we shot last fall, it was October, we took that bear and we placed it out to see just how fast it's going to deteriorate and the scavengers come around and that, and I was amazed at how long it took. Other times you can take the same carcass and put it in a different location, and you go back in a few days and the maggots have taken her down, and the next thing you go back another week later and it's gone. I mean, within a month she's disappeared or scattered all over. So you can't always say each and every time nature takes care of things just like that. It's not true. There are certain areas, certain weather patterns, certain times of the year it takes much longer. I mean, a carcass in some cases could last 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And I know that for a fact because I've done those experiments.
So what kind of people are into Bigfoot research? Like, what's the common thread amongst?
The mystery of it. It's something that people keep seeing that basically the political world, the scientific world tells us isn't there.
Yeah, we want to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Because we know something's out there.
Yeah. It's a mystery. I love the outdoors and I love a mystery, so the two naturally went together.
Yeah, and these guys that are debunking us, when do I ever see them out in the bush?
Yeah.
And when they come out into the bush, they're wearing nylon and they're wearing, stuff that you can see, and they're moving like this, making all kinds of noise. They don't even know how to walk right in the bush. And they're telling us who live out there, and we hunt and we trap and we lived out there, who knows, years and years, right? He's telling me that I don't know what I'm seeing, I don't know what I'm living in my neighborhood. Like, I don't go and tell him, down at his 7-Eleven, there's some stuff going around the back corner, right? That's his territory. He can be the expert on what's happening at the 7-Eleven. I'm the expert what happens out here in the bush.
You get angry when people tell you that you didn't see it?
Yeah, I've been sitting at home watching the TV, and I got stacks of these Sasquatch videos and movies and stuff like that, and sometimes, "You're stupid," I say. "You're totally wrong, and you're telling the world that you're the expert and this is the way it is." I know it's not. And I'd say half of what you hear on these Sasquatch videos from the scientists that are debunking us have no substance to what they're saying whatsoever. Bring them out here and I'll prove them wrong, just like that. But they won't come.
I just wish the scientists would admit the true story. I just wish they'd turn around and say, "We don't know." People say they're there, other people say they're not. We don't know, rather than debunking the whole thing right off the bat, because there were so many things debunked until they finally brought them out. The giant panda, the lowland gorilla, the mountain gorilla, the coelacanth. I mean, you can go on and on. According to Fisheries Canada, there are no more 12-foot sturgeon in the Fraser River. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I've seen 20.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Sure.
They're wrong. Simple as that.
I was out in Ontario out there, and I went into the conservation office there, and I said, "Have you had any cougars in this area?" He says, "Not for 60 years. Oh, okay. I didn't say nothing. I just walked out. I just seen one the day before.
The best example I said was 2 weeks ago. I was talking to a farmer on the Colm Island Trunk Road, and he says, "Do you ever get any bears coming down from the hills?" He says, "Oh, hell, there hasn't been a bear seen here in a generation." I went around the corner. There was a black bear right outside the road. He probably still hasn't seen one.
I ran into.
It was 20 feet from him, just around the corner.
I ran into a fire warden once. It's his job to go out there and post the no fire. When it's dangerous for forest fires, no campfires allowed. He goes out in the bush to all the campsites, the recreational areas, and he puts up the big red sign, right? And I met him one day, and I said, "Oh, by the way, how many black bears have you seen so far this year?" He says, "None." "Oh," I said, "that's kind of odd." I said, "Well, how many have you seen over the years?" He said, "I've been doing this for 6 years. I've seen one." And I said to myself, "Well, how is it this is the way it is?" Well, he says, "I just drive the logging roads to the camp, and I just go back to the office." I've seen 4 or 5 on a hillside, and you just take the next hill over from the road. You can't be an expert if you're just driving the logging roads. And I know what's on the logging roads because I keep diaries and I keep everything, and I got more than 250,000 kilometers on these logging roads around here. And I know what the odds are of seeing bears and stuff like that, times a year.
It's easier to avoid people in the backwoods of Canada and the Pacific Northwest and the United States today than it was 150 years ago. We don't have natives moving from whole First Nations tribes moving from one area to another like we used to. There aren't hundreds of men making their living off the back country like they used to. There's still some, but not to the extent that there used to be. And most of your so-called wilderness people and hunters, especially the ones that come from the city, their idea of hunting is like 40 feet off the road. And your so-called campers are 40 feet off the road in a public campground, where the next guy's over is playing his ghetto blaster, I've been camping 20 years, never seen a thing. Yeah, well, you won't as long as you keep going to the campgrounds. If you look at my maps, both the Alberta map, the Rocky Mountain map, and this map, It's when they've come close to people rather than the other way around in most cases. Right? All that wilderness where there are nobody. There's nothing there. That's only because, one, there's not as many people out there to see them. Two, I haven't heard of them. The ones here where they come and cross the road in front of someone's car, or they steal someone's fish that's got laying on the side, and they'll go there later and find the tracks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the kind of thing that keeps happening.
If you look at the calendar, you're going to have a peak activity in the last half of August through to the middle of October. That's what I figure is their mating time, and the salmon are running. So you got a combination of they're coming down for the easy food, and the females are screaming, trying to attract the male to reproduce. And on the earlier topic, Vancouver is right here in the yellow, and some of the most wild and densest territory in all of British Columbia is right up in here. Not way 500, 800, 1,000 miles north. It's right in there, and there's all kinds of missing guys up there, like the Pitt River, Pitt Lake area, there's 24 guys missing. In the Mystery Valley, which is just near where I live right here, Mystery Valley is right in here, there's 11 guys never been found again. Things like that's wild country.
I'd like to say there's two unidentified animals in the Pacific Northwest. One's a Sasquatch, and there's something else that eats airplanes, because 57 aircraft have crashed in the Pacific Northwest since the end of World War II and have not been located.
Yeah.
It was 58. They found one 2 years ago when they were building that new neighborhood in North Vancouver. They always assumed it crashed in the sea. It didn't crash in the hills. And when they started clearing to build that new neighborhood, they found the wreckage.
Yeah, maybe.
It crashed right outside the city and sat there for 45 years. No one ever came across it until they started tearing it down.
How do you guys feel personally, like, once, if it is proven, like, that the body turns up, just, like, explain, like, the feelings that would go initially?
Wonderful. I'll be very happy. And then I'll probably be annoyed when the Smithsonian and all the scientists that said for the last 50 years there was no such thing say, oh, we knew it was there all along.
I don't know, it's probably,
Yeah.
probably gonna hurt. It's probably gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
Big,
Yeah, who knows? The implications of confirming this animal exists is really beyond comprehension. Like what it will do to the logging industry, how it will react, how the government will react, what will it mean for this? Finding the Sasquatch is just the beginning. There's going to be studies left, right, and center trying to explain everything to us. They'll have to research it to find out, does it need old-growth forest, where are the weather numbers, blah, 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 blah. It will go on and on and on. Yeah. We're still at stage one to proving it's there.
I mean, I can always say, well, okay, I'll go and hunt grizzly bears, but now they're semi-protected here. You got to have a draw to be able to get a tag for one. But
I don't know, move to Okanagan, look for Okanagan.
it's much more dangerous to hunt grizzly bears. I've been up in the bush, in the mountains up there, and come across grizzly tracks. And I've read about a lot about them, and some of my friends have shot them. And man, it's unnerving. I'd rather hunt Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I really would.
Look at that green pack there. I'm gonna take it off.
Oh, Tom was almost killed by a grizzly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call this my lucky pack. It was 1986 August, and that's what the mother did to it when I was on my back.
John was trying to get up a tree.
I was getting up a tree real fast.
Just made her.
Yeah, even got the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only part that got through to my back were 2 claw marks, and it required 6 stitches. The luckiest day of my life. Yeah. Never. I got about 10 feet up the tree, and I got pulled down about 4 feet. And then for some reason I let go. And I still don't know to this day why I let go. And I went right back up that tree. My arms were just cut and scraped and everything I went through. I pay homage to that tree every time I go by there now. And it hung around at the bottom of the tree for about 20 minutes, about an hour and a half after it moved off. I came down out of the tree, went back to my truck where my rifle was. And I didn't even realize I was bleeding until I got back to the truck. And when I went up there the next day with this Mountie and this, I don't know what he was. I don't think he was from the Forest Service. He had a straight
Conservation?
look. Yeah, probably. And about 100 meters over from where this charge occurred, there was a deer carcass buried. So I figured it was either it had claimed it was scavenging or something, or had a kill and it was coming. It was probably watching me for a while. When I got too close, she charged. That's simple. Yeah. That's
I mean, we're talking Sasquatch right now because that's your main topic that you're out here for. But I mean, we can talk about black bears, and I can tell you about them, and grizzly bears, and why this happened to Tom. And you want to talk about crows? They're all important animals in the environment, you know, and things like that.
The Sasquatch is intriguing because so many people say it's not there, and when you talk to witnesses and you describe the circumstances surrounding their encounter, and you see how elusive these things are, holy cow! It's no surprising that we haven't found them by now, or someone hasn't shot one by now, or anything like that. I mean,
well, I could have shot one.
You could have shot one.
I could have shot one, but I said that thing it's human, but it's not acting human. It's what is this? And of course, one of the main rules when you get your hunting license, I mean, you don't shoot unless you identify it 100%, no doubt, right? So there's a doubt there. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a Chinaman from downtown Chinatown, and he's gone crazy and he's living out in the bush or something. He's wearing some kind of outfit. You never know.
Some German POW that escaped and never got out.
Yes.
But yeah.
Could you show us some of these pictures you got here? Is that Renee?
Oh yeah, that's
We should
Renee.
probably go over all this and get.
Oh, yeah,
We can
yeah.
talk about all the whole.
That's me and
office.
Renee at the '93 Symposium. That was the first one in Harrison. Yeah. Renee passed away a couple of years ago. I always liked that photo. Yeah.
What a character he was.
Yeah. Yeah, never forget him. Good friend. Always used to go up, and when I drive into places, he'd always say the same, "Hey, Tom, still driving that shit box." It's, referring to my truck.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all that's. You were at this conference. That was the one at the university.
No, I wasn't at that
No,
one.
you weren't at that one?
No.
Yeah, and that's Danny Perez and me, Renee, Sasquatch, and Scott Harriet in California. That's just for fun. Most of my photos I keep in boxes down below here. Yeah, with castings and stuff. And alleged footprint findings I keep in here. Stuff like that. And in here. Let's take a couple of samples up for you. This is one of the tracks from the Patterson film site that left behind that day. Casting by Roger Patterson. And here's a copy of the other foot, because I wanted to have one of both feet. That's from the Patterson film site. Yeah, the one when it was filmed that day.
Could you hold them up?
These are the two castings that were, copies of the two castings that were cast by Patterson himself at the time. It was Robert Titmus who went down there 9 days later and cast a whole bunch of them in succession. But Roger at the time, they only had a limited amount of plaster with them, and naturally he chose the clearest and ones closest to the water to cast, and that was these ones. Yeah.
Show him the Bossburg one there.
Bossburg cripple.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is one of the good piece of evidence
Yeah.
that they say all these tracks are fake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tom will explain why this couldn't be fake.
Yeah, well, at least we assumed they couldn't be fake, because the only biggest problem was Ivan Marks was involved in this case, so that gave a lot of suspicion in our minds.
Oh yeah, but
Right,
still, I
but
need to
still.
get the expertise.
This is why they call it the Bossburg cripple, because the right foot of the animal, remember you're looking at the bottom of the feet, so the right foot of the animal was distorted lengthwise. It was bent, right? It's missing a toe. But most importantly were these two bulges on the outside flank of the foot, which indicates space in between bones. Now if this was some kind of human foot, or some kind of fake based on a human foot, these two bulges should be down around here. Where they are indicates this is a foot designed with different leverage. In other words, it's got a longer heel, shorter forefoot. In other words, this is to put it plain simply, this is the way our feet should be if it was natural for us to weigh anywhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds.
That's right.
Yeah, to support the weight.
Nothing behind your heel.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of weight up top, and you go backwards. You have nothing to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
But these animals are like 10, 12 feet tall in some cases reported, and you have to have that extra mass out the back of the calcaneus bone in the heel to prevent you from going back over.
In other words, it's designed to support a bipedal creature of that weight caliber, you know. And we generally thought no guy just faking something would have thought that one up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most
It's
people
possible, but I don't think so.
Most people that have the mentality that fake or full of hoax
Yep.
like that wouldn't have the knowledge that there's two bones in here anyway.
Yep. And I don't have a
Regardless
copy.
if they did know,
Mhm.
they would have faked them in where the human position would have been,
Mhm.
not.
Yeah. And I don't have a copy of the castings, and nobody I know does, but there was actually another set of footprints found in Bossburg. We managed to find a photograph of the second set of prints. And the positioning of the toes and everything on the cripple foot was different. You'd see it in the book on the Bossburg cripple. We found that. It's a different set of prints.
That day that this was cast, there was 1,089.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, found by Renee DeHinden. Renee was the one that cast them.
Yeah, they were counting how many
Yeah.
there were. There's almost 1,100.
And of course, the other foot was normal, right?
Yeah.
Normal foot. It wasn't
The left foot was normal.
Now, the best print I've ever personally found was along the Chilliwack River in 1986. And that's this one. And the witnesses said the thing that made this print was over 9 feet tall. And I found 112 of these in behind Vetter Crossing. I've never taken you there, have I?
I know the area.
Yeah. It's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That was in 1986. It was,
Just look at the size of them.
mm-hmm.
You can just picture the body. They can, like, how thick is the calf?
Mm-hmm.
And the knee is up in here. How big is it?
This wasn't the best one. The best one, like I said, we all learn from our mistakes and repeat them.
Yeah.
First time I actually cast a good set of prints. And I made the mistake of only letting the first cast sit there about 20 minutes before I tried to pull it out of the ground. It broke up on me. I let this one sit a lot longer. Well, we all learn, we all do it, and we all repeat.
So how did you guys end up here in this office?
Here, I work here. This is where I make. The Sasquatch research is fascinating, but it doesn't pay the bills, so I have to make a living like everyone else. So I make my living. I'm the watchman here, and I do maintenance here on the machines in the 3 mills. We got 3 mills here, and the logging company working here. So I made a deal. I'll do that and stuff, and they let me live here and made this room in my own apartment. That way I don't have to pay rent. Gives me a little bit more money to do something.
And they don't mind if you set it up for.
Oh, hell no. I got used to it. They sort of grin and nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But, well, I'm not going to say who, but there's a few people here who are associated with the people who run this place. They've seen it. So I was actually going to ask, I was hoping he would show up around today. I was going to ask him before he got here whether or not he'd be willing to talk to you guys about it.
That would be great.
Yeah. But I was wondering, do you guys want to go down to that area, close area where those 2 ladies had the signing?
Sure, definitely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Let's stop at Michael's down there and grab a sandwich.
You hungry?
I'm always hungry.
I'm hungry too.
They got a restaurant, but
Have you eaten at many Canadian restaurants here, lads?
Nope.
Well, you'll notice our portions. You don't get your money's worth here, not like in God Bless America.
Well, that's because we're big and fat, and Americans just
But you know,
We just consume. That's our whole.
we consume
culture.
everything
Consume.
possible. Like that.
Consume.
Yeah,
to-
well.
but you know,
Hey, there's not that much difference between us, eh?
No, but at least you get your money's worth in
Yeah.
the United States. You sure don't here.
There's really no border. I
Yeah.
mean, you
I
see
know.
where the customs guys are, right? But if you want to go out into the bush, once in a while you'll see a cement or a stone. What do they call them things? The marker stone, whatever. International boundary line, whatever. But I mean, there's animals going back and forth all the time. There's all kinds of things going on. Now,
We'll go on the rover. You guys can follow us in your car.
Yeah,
It's easy
sure.
to get to this place. I picked it because it's the closest, and I figured you were in a hurry. So I thought you might be going to Harrison or something.
We're not in a hurry.
We're not in too much of a hurry, but
Oh,
We have all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'd like to go. Well, our main goal
we'd be
in
fine.
British Columbia.
You going to the powwow also?
No.
Okay.
One angle we haven't been fortunate to get yet is the native kind of point of view.
I know lots of natives, and from time to time, they've told me some of the sightings and encounters they've had, and I said, would you like to get properly interviewed and have it on film and tell your story? And they go, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They're hard to get to talk
And
to.
I
Yeah,
don't
I know.
want to push them, because if I do that, they're not going to come and tell me what's going on.
Same here.
So you
Yeah,
gotta.
I think we'd have to spend weeks up there.
To gain their trust. And
That's right. Yeah.
The couple days we have, it's
Because they're always afraid people are going to make fun of it. Like I was wondering about you guys too, to be honest with you, because sometimes there's been like Larry was on that World's Greatest Hoaxes finally revealed. They told him that they were doing a serious documentary on the Sasquatch. It turned out to be stuff to make us all look like idiots.
yeah.
We've already been threatened.
Yeah.
They said that if we made fun of us, they'd find us and kill us. So
Who told you that?
down south.
people down south.
Yeah.
So we're risking our.
It's not our,
Yeah,
it's
we're
not
from
our goal.
Louisiana.
Our goal is, I mean, we are very interested in like character.
Well, you're down south. You Yankees from Boston.
Yeah. The guy told me, he's like, oh, well, you're from Boston. That's one strike against you. I'll let
Honestly,
you
the research is what we're giving you guys the opportunity is probably what we've found probably the best opportunity because we're just giving you an open platform. We're not, we're not doing, we're not doing a fake walk through the woods, which is not, nothing. So
no
we're not
dramatic.
gonna chop
Oh,
off
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
no dramatic.
It's very simple. It's just people's
Yeah.
mechanic counseling.
And the most thing, well, half of it we're going for is just authentic interviews with.
River is.
Pretty rare.
My hat.
Oh, you forget your hat?
Yeah.
In actuality, we've passed areas. I mean, there have been sightings all along the riverbank here, all through the 60s and the 50s and stuff like that, and some more recent. Like I said, someone saw someone in his yard 2 years ago, just up the hill across the street from where we are. But I didn't. He's still been reluctant to come and interview.
You've heard of, what is it, J.W. Burns? Is that the guy's name? J.W. Burns?
This Halo's teacher in the
Yeah,
next right?
yeah. Well, in his book, there was an Indian named Charlie right up in Hatzick. He had
Old Charlie, yeah.
where he shot that one.
Yeah.
Are we going in to sit down? Or are we?
Yeah, we can sit down if you guys want.
Yeah. Take your time. We got all time.
Fantastic. Don't want to leave my survival gear. You want to lock it up, Tom, or what?
Oh, just slam it. No, I have to do it here.
Just leave it open like that?
Well, it's not gonna rain. There's nothing there to steal. Except the truck itself.
No, I think they passed. Easily spotted. The whole point of going is the Sasquatch research vehicle.
Yeah, I had a cop come in. So you went through you rather were a little late going through that yellow light. And I said, well, what makes you think it was me? So ran along the road and had Sasquatch research on the door. Doesn't a lot of vehicles have that?
Nope. There's a big one right there.
Oh, guess I am hungry.
So what kind of sandwiches are good around here?
Oh, they'll bring it menu. They got good clubhouse here. They got a lot of burgers.
Right?
They got a good buffet here on the weekend.
Yeah, I've had it a few times. Yeah, all you can eat type deal.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love
We're a big buffet kind of thing.
You don't have to think about it.
You been to Canada before?
Been to Montreal.
Yeah, I've been here a bunch of times personally. I have a really good friend who lives in Vancouver.
Oh, no kidding. Right on.
Don't get much out of the city though. I mean, she lives in the city and she works. And
Strangely enough, a lot of people I know in Vancouver never go far. They somehow stay right around here.
Well, our original goal in British Columbia is to go to Bella Coola.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
but, I
Clayton
mean,
Max
We
territory.
couldn't.
At the time,
We couldn't. It's too much for us to get all the way up there.
It's a hell of a drive.
Yeah. Why would you want to go there? Because it
Well,
was.
there's a Chris Murphy told me a whole story. He went up there. He says there's a lot of native.
Yeah.
They're happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
I guess they could pretty much consider Bigfoot part of their community. The kids know about it. It sounded very interesting.
You notice in Canada we use the word Sasquatch all the time. Right?
Yeah.
More than Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's where the name came from.
Yeah, it's a Native American term.
Yeah, from the Chehalis Reserve up that's where it
Yeah, just
started.
down here is
It
where
was, English.
Sasquatch came from.
J.W. Burns wrote those
Yeah,
articles
that's
for
right.
Plain Magazine in 1929, and that's where the name got adopted by the non-native in Canada. It's called Sasquatch ever since. The name Bigfoot came about in the late 50s from Northern California.
Hi.
Yeah,
Who's coming?
Okay.
And
That's
they were
why I
doing
like
it.
Sasquatch, because it goes back hundreds of years.
Less groovy sounding too. Bigfoot
Yeah.
sounds like.
Well, the reporter never heard of Canada's Sasquatch when he was doing the
They're 5 or
stories.
6.
5.
We do have some specials today. We have cabbage rolls and pierogies for $8.49. And we have a soup and sandwich for $6.95. Soup is chicken, noodle, or vegetable, and our sandwich is a pizza sub.
Pizza sub.
Pizza sub?
Pizza sub. So it's going to be like a sub bun, and it'll be open faced, and they'll have spaghetti sauce on, and pepperoni, and melted cheese, and they'll do it in the oven. So they'll both come out baked.
Really? I'll take that.
Where they got hot roast beef, I know they do.
I'll take chicken noodle.
Chicken noodle? Would you like anything to drink?
Can I just have some water, please? Actually, do you have coffee? Just water and coffee?
Water and coffee?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're having?
What was the other special again?
The cabbage rolls and pierogies.
Cabbage
$8.49.
rolls?
Comes with 3 cabbage rolls and 5 pierogies and fried
What's in the
onions.
cabbage? Anything just?
Just the hamburger, rice, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Cabbage rolls and pierogies. What would you like to drink?
I'll have a Coke, please.
Pepsi, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anybody else ready for drinks?
I'm just thinking water.
Oh, with Pepsi.
I'm just saying about
And I'll get drinks. and
You're not
we'll be
hungry,
back
Tom?
for
You
the
don't?
rest of
No.
the-
Wait. Do you have hot roast beef sandwiches here?
No.
Oh, sorry. Do that.
All right.
One thing we
You already know
don't
you
All
ordered.
right.
Do you need this?
No,
Oh.
yeah, I just want coffee. That's all.
Salisbury steak, popular dish, fries and gravy.
Did you order yet?
No.
Are you on that diet still?
No. I'm just not hungry.
I'll buy you a burger. Hey. Fried chicken.
Yeah, we're gonna get this one for you guys taking us out.
Yeah, we got this one.
It's all on us.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thanks, buddy. That's great.
I'll take 2 coffees.
No, feel free, get whatever you want.
There's zucchini spears. You can't go wrong with that. Or a basket of shrimp.
So what is the powwow gonna be like?
It's basically, they used to have this thing up, and they used to have it in Carson. It was called Bigfoot Days. It's just basically a get-together. It's more of a social.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
It's the
and
same-
it's,
okay, yeah, I've been to that.
Right. It's
Yeah.
put on by the Western Bigfoot Society, and they now call themselves the International Bigfoot Society. Ray Crow's organization.
Yeah.
And they invite guys like me and that stuff down to come and give a talk and see what's going on. I was hoping Craig Long was going to be there.
Oh, he'll never
I just-
show anywhere.
Yeah, I just reviewed his book. It's on the internet.
How many have you been to before?
Oh, to Ray Crow's thing, I went to the last Bigfoot Days in Carson, which was the year 2000. Yeah, it's just a social thing. I wasn't even going to go to this one, but Chris Murphy called me this weekend and said, "Hey, you want to go?" I said, "Well, why the hell not?" Yeah.
Is there usually just a lot of no names, or do a lot of like just interested parties show up?
Oh, it depends. Some years it's been rather scarce. Then some years it's just been packed.
Right.
You know, it's usually pretty good. They picked a hell of a nice campground for it. So
Right.
yeah, this
So
time.
you just keep
It's just
out there?
people of equal interest coming in and talking, discussing the things.
Yeah, that's great.
And then I usually go after 3 or 4 of them. And go, well, how about that paranormal?
Two coffees?
Yeah.
Do people go on hikes or any research on the woods? Or?
Oh yeah, there's opportunities to do all that
It's just
stuff.
going to be a minute for the 2 Pepsis. I just got to change.
But you're always better to do research in small groups, not large
Right,
ones.
right.
And is the rest ready to order?
I think so. Yeah.
What would you like?
I'm gonna get the Monte Cristo.
Do you want gravy for your fries?
Want sugar?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Can I get sweet potato fries instead?
Sure, I think it's $1.50 more.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
I keep forgetting this is Canadian too.
And what would you like?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like the Salisbury steak.
Do you want mashed potatoes, baked, fries, or roasted?
I'll go for fries today. Thank you.
Do you want gravy with that?
Gravy, yes, please.
Do you want garlic toast, dinner bun, soup, salad, or veggies?
Oh, dinner buns sound good.
And what would you like?
Oh no, I'm fine.
You're
Just
okay?
cover that, yeah.
Okay. I'll take these and I'll bring the pretzels.
Well, I get a vegetable with that? Or is that...
That's one of the choices.
Oh, I see. I get the bun or the vegetables. What's the vegetable today?
Vegetable is vegetable medley. It'll be cauliflower, lima beans, carrots. It's a mixture.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll have that instead.
You'll have that instead?
Yeah, please. Thanks. Gotta have your veggies, man.
This man, if it's still moving on the plate, he'll finish it up.
I haven't met Bill Miller. Have you heard of Bill Miller? He's a good friend of ours. He lives in Peoria, Illinois. He comes out here and stays with me. Well, it used to be every year. But man, he's about 320. He loves to eat. We hit all, we're supposed to be out Sasquatch hunting. You pass a restaurant. Let's go in.
We've been eating garbage.
I'm being on the road stuff.
Down
Yeah, it
south
is
in
tough, I
Florida,
know.
They just don't eat anything healthy
I
down
don't know how you
south.
could do it. I mean, motel
Really?
prices nowadays, you stay in motels a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's expensive now.
Yeah.
You can't get a room in BC under $80 anymore.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. I remember I used to occasionally go to one, to have a shower after a week in the bush.
Yeah.
And on the way back, you just have a shower that night, and shave and stuff like that, and go back out the next day. But it was $30 a night then.
Yeah.
BC, you got your
Well, you might
hotel
find one
tax,
for
your
60.
GST, your PST, your tax.
Taxes are crazy.
Oh, they're insane here. In this country, they're absolutely insane. There's only one province that has any common sense left, and that's Alberta.
The
They don't call
rednecks
it-
guys.
Yeah, they don't call it Texas North for nothing.
He made Confederate flags. What do you got? A Confederate?
Alberta rebel flag, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Is that the one with the looks like the Confederate flag?
Yeah,
got
that's the one.
Maple leaves.
That's great.
That's
What
the
does that mean?
It's the flag for the Western Republic. We always tried to separate like Quebec did. The rest of Canada.
Well, going back the early '80s, there was Washington State, Oregon, Alberta, and BC. And anyway, they were trying to break away their own little state here. You know what I mean? Never happened. Never happened.
But the West has always been mean.
Just, you can go over that again.
This side,
Yeah, you see where the rocks are? Just sticking out like halfway up that hillside, and you got that rocky outcrop there. Sort of whitish and gray on the rock sides. The clearing right in the middle.
Oh, in the middle,
Yeah.
where the white is on the rocks there.
Yes.
So they seem
Right on top.
On top of that.
They was sitting down watching them.
Oh yeah.
And they thought it was a man at first. Well, they thought it was a bear at first. And we're all saying, hey, look at the bear, look at the bear, look at the bear. Then it stood up
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
What time of the year?
That was in August.
In the middle of the daytime?
No, it was rather late in the evening. It was like around 7:30 p.m.
Oh,
So, just before it really starts to get dark.
Yeah.
You know.
So it was watching them at this distance.
Yeah. No, they weren't here. They were down the trail a little bit. I can show you the exact spot they were
okay,
standing in.
Okay,
the
let's
mountain.
go down and have a
Yeah.
look there. That means that thing can step good ice right there.
Oh yeah.
Well, it can't be bears because black bears are going to have killers. That's not some trip cameras.
You'd get more people than anything else.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this time of year there's a lot of recreational use in the river.
Oh yeah.
People come here and they walk like so there's just a horse trail too, right?
Yeah, I don't see any horse on this.
Matter of fact, there's a sand pit or something just back here a little ways. I think they used to dig up for gravel.
You ever go on these?
Where are you?
these
Two
roads,
buddies.
logging
They'll
roads
be
up the
coming.
Hmm?
You ever hit those logging roads back up in here?
Oh yes.
Have you been up to the crest there at the
Yeah.
summit?
I mean just
where, where the
beyond.
big sign is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, yeah, you're doing your work.
I've been up to that right in behind that water treatment area a dozen times.
Yeah, you follow that big metal pipe up there,
Right.
right? Yeah, I know what you're talking. But there's a gate there. It's closed, right?
Oh, sometimes. Depends if there's any work. Sometimes it's open. You just hope no one closes it behind you.
Yeah, right. That's what you hope for to get home.
Yeah. That's another thing I don't like what's been happening. There's too many of these damn gates up here, and that's because people can't really blame them, but I don't like it. You know, too many yardbirds tearing the place up.
Yeah. So we have some big rains coming up this month. This river is going to really be roaring.
Oh yeah.
Boy, that's beautiful.
See that was absolutely dry.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
We've had a long, dry summer this year. Just started raining well about a couple weeks ago. Now the two girls that saw the things, believe it or not.
Yeah, I can see they're getting a lot closer now, eh?
Yeah. They were just up in the middle there, you know, right where that logs and all that crap is. That's where they were standing.
Let's go to the spot. How did you find out about this site?
Well, they saw the signs of the truck on the door.
Tell you.
Yeah, they tell me. And then I came up
back here.
Yep. Didn't want to do the interview though. Matter of fact, one of the girls was still convinced that it was a bear, and the other girl saying, "Well, how do you explain it walking upright?" She says,
Yeah.
"Bears sometimes walk upright." For that far? And she goes, "Yeah, okay." It's almost like she didn't want to believe that she could have seen what she thinks she saw.
How old are these girls?
Young, about in their early 20s, pretty.
Were they swimming out here at the time? Or?
No, more or less just enjoying the day sunbathing. They had a couple of lawn chairs with them. And
They weren't drinking.
no, they were not drinking.
How soon after it happened did they tell you about it?
So 3 days. They saw me at the Haxett gas station.
That's pretty soon after.
Yeah.
I wonder how you get up there.
You can hike up there. You go down here along the river. It's not too bad of a climb up there. I never did get right up to the spot, but around there. Because there's sort of like a steep cliff just above that trees.
Okay, that looks to be about 1,800 feet up, I bet. If you had a GPS reading, you could probably get something.
They had a kid with them, too. The kid was only like, yeah! Over here, guys!
Coyote.
Mm-hmm.
Coyotes in there. Yeah. Well, out here, you know what we ought to do sometime? Is just take this right up.
In the springtime, this whole thing is just one big river.
Yeah, I know, but right now, eh?
Yeah.
It'll take you a while to cover all this. You never find much track here, but you know, this stuff here.
On this stuff, and the winter stuff along the water's edge, yeah, like over there. See, look at the view they had from here. This is where they were. The son, the kid was playing with his bucket and pail. While I'm looking at it today, there's
So the sun
air up there.
This is the middle of October. I mean August.
August, yeah.
So
August
the sun-
17th to be
The
exact.
sun goes down. What about 9
9 p.m. It's it's dark around there. Yeah, it starts getting dark around 7:30. So, around the time this happened.
So the sun is going down here, shining directly on them.
Yeah. It was right up there on top of that rock. So she said it was watching them, or at least they assumed it was watching them. And when it got up, it walked from one side and then walked back to the other, and then turned around and walked straight back. They didn't really get a grip of that.
So it went up that open there. Right up into the tree.
See there? There's apparently dead ground there. See, if you look at those shadows and stuff, it almost looks like there's something up there now. But you look at, they're just crevices and cracks, right? And when I pointed that out, she said, no, this thing definitely stood up. You know, walk from one side to the other and turn around and it walked away.
But it could have been a human, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's what I suggested.
Yeah, what'd they say then?
They said, I don't think so. It was all black.
Of course, it would take you a good hour to get down, so you're at, you still could get down in daylight.
Yeah. And she said, it's the way the thing was acting, you know.
Yeah.
They assumed it was, one of them assumed it was a Sasquatch. The other one still thinks it was a bear.
Oh yeah, is it a big raven up there? Okay, what do you call that now? That got a name?
No, Nicholm Mountain's the next one over. I can't remember this one.
And the Norris Creek watershed's through there, right?
Right, we're straight up the valley.
This is a great place to bring a horse. Yeah, I could just ride up there.
Fucking right, so you good.
Yeah.
And this is a great place to look for tracks. The only problem is in the summertime, like now, quite often, this is a widely used area for people. This is one of the favorite, down there by the bridge is one of the favorite swimming holes people like to go.
I can see that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of human activity. Of course, people bring their dogs.
Yeah, but where does the human activity die off? I mean, you go a mile up the creek, you might not see anybody.
Well, there's only 2 cars out there today, so who knows where they are.
Yeah. Where did that? So is any salmon run up here?
I don't believe so. I've never seen them, but I did see dead salmon in a creek that flows into this one, so quite possibly yes.
You get trout.
Yeah.
Probably get something.
The thing is, in the summertime, this thing is completely and totally dry.
Yeah.
You know, totally dry.
Yeah.
Now it's up a little here now, and that's enough for them to get upstream.
Well, they got some big current. Look at the size of these logs that are being pushed down here. Yeah, I've been up in there lots of times, but when you're up in there, you're too high in altitude to get creek beds that are flat like this. This is ideal for checking out.
I mean, some place like that would be a great place to set up an OP to watch down on a place like this. You know what I mean?
Well, the kind of cameras that you got, it's a long ways.
Oh yeah, I know.
Gotta be closer. The lens would have to be like 3 feet long.
Yeah.
Well, if you. So how do you get up there now?
Well, there is a path that sort of, it's not too bad of a climb until you get to that cliff face, and then it's sort.
Have you been in there?
I've gone up to the base.
Right on. Good for you. That's great. Never seen.
I got to admit, I didn't hike around the other side to see if there's another one. It was pretty disappointing getting all the way up there and finding a cliff.
Yeah,
but that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Yeah. It's not that far. It's only about an hour.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, now that I think on it, it looks like the right-hand side would probably be a little easier.
But looking up there, you see the coniferous forest, right? Well, that's not their food. It's the deciduous trees down around here where they'd be coming to eat. So, what would he be doing up there? Maybe wanting to come down here.
Travel from one area to the other. There is, over this hill, the other side, there is a clear cut. There's been logging up there.
How old is a clear cut?
Oh no, it's at least 8 years old. They haven't
8
been there
years
for a
old?
while. Yeah, they haven't been there for a while. And someone set up a cell phone tower up there.
Oh, all right. Okay. So north right now would be where? Right about where we're looking?
In that direction.
Yeah, right around there.
I'll tell you exactly where we're looking.
So the sun is coming up in here. So there'd be lots of berries on that clear
North.
cut, right? Yeah, north right there. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, so yeah, might be worth checking out.
Any questions for Bill? Any questions or anything? Looking at it, instead of turning around, because the kid was digging in the sand and they don't have the noise, so they turned around, started playing with the kid, turning their back on him. They turned their chairs around, looked up, see that? Is that a bear up there moving? Because it was sort of like
swaying a little bit.
Boy, they timed that one right.
Yeah, that's what they saw.
It's pretty exciting.
As a matter of fact, they said when they found me in the Hatchet gas station, they said they knew I was around. They didn't know who I was, but they see the vehicle before, and they were hoping to run into me.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it paid off that way.
Yeah. So there's no reason why they would want to fake something like that because they've had no contact with you since then.
You know, it's just a typical. They saw something, they can't explain what it was. According to the one girl, they never believed in this kind of thing before. They've heard stories because they're from Deroche.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
okay.
they live there.
Yeah.
Okay, so which spot exactly are we looking at?
See that rocky outcrop there, right in about the middle?
Yep.
Right on top of that, where those shadows are. It looks like a sheer face and then an overhang there, and then there's hill in behind it. It was right there at the edge, looking down at them as they were sitting right here.
What would you judge the distance to be?
Oh, up there?
From here
Half
right
a
to
mile.
there? About a mile?
Half a mile.
Half a mile.
And
Maybe a
what
little
were-
more.
Well, let me think here.
Maybe
You
a little
got-
more.
You got 300 yards to there.
What kind of people were the
600
people that saw
yards,
it?
1,000 yards. That's 1,000 yards.
There were two women in their early 20s. One was the mother of the little boy that they had with them. One of the ladies said she's a Medicare worker in Mission. The other lady is a waitress.
And they hadn't had any other experiences with Bigfoot?
No. They've living it up and growing up in this area. They heard Sasquatch stories, but they've never seen anything themselves. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they were both rather skeptical until this day, 2 years ago, when it happened. Or at least that's the way they explained it to me. Matter of fact, when they were talking to me, one of them was still trying to convince herself that it was a bear they were looking at.
What were some of the attributes that made them, decipher this from a bear?
Well, the way it was moving when it stood up, they said it was on two legs. And they weren't sure about a comparison, but they believed that they had been standing at the same spot and they wouldn't even been half as high as the thing was. And it was hairy as far as they were concerned, and it was jet black in color from head to foot, according to them. And when it got up, it's almost, they said, it almost like it realized we had spotted it, And then it got up, and it sort of like wandered to the right-hand side, and then wandered over to the left, came back to the middle, and then turned around, went straight back. And
They didn't
never
have binoculars, man.
No, they didn't have binoculars. They were looking at the way we are now.
Well,
And
to
it's
say
too
that
bad because they
hair-
would have had a nice view if they had a pair of binoculars.
Yeah.
And what makes this sighting credible compared to others?
Basically because they didn't come right out and say they saw a Sasquatch. They basically told me we saw something, we don't know what it was. This is what it looked like. You tell me what we saw. And the fact is they really didn't want any publicity or anything like that. And they said I could not put their names in any future book or anything like that. So they're definitely not after publicity.
Well, if it walked on two legs, the only other thing it could be is a big man.
Yeah, big man, way up there.
All right, so that's pretty. Anything over and beyond this point that we're looking at, that's all straight wilderness, man. You can go on for hundreds of miles. You're just going to run into logging roads. So, and there's nothing nearby to get to that aspect. So, somebody was to, well, you never know. Somebody could be up there camping or something.
And that was August 17, 2002. 7:30 p.m.
And what kind of research did you do to follow up? Did you do to follow up on it?
Well, basically I got the girl's story, and then I tried going up there to have a look around. I didn't really expect to find tracks or anything out there because it's rock. That is rock. And basically we're going up on the left-hand side. You get to that point right there where you see that white there sticking through the trees, and it's... So that's basically where I stopped. I'm not equipped to
So
do anything.
you're going to surmise that that creature came down from the top rather than put the effort in to go up from the bottom.
I have no idea where it came from. All I know is what they saw right where it was.
And it retreated back up.
Well, it went back because there's dead ground behind that ridge and the hill in behind it. So where it went when it went back there, all I know is they did not say they saw it again further back as it
Okay,
climbed
so it
up.
might have gone in those trees
It
there.
might have gone to the left, it might have gone to the right. I don't know. If it went to the right, they might have seen it again in that clearing. If they went to the left, they never would have seen it again.
Well, like any animal in the wild, they don't want to waste energy.
Yep.
So they've got to account for all the calories.
Yeah.
So if something is up there, it's got to be up there for a reason, eh?
Path of least resistance.
Yeah. We got to eat food too, so all the good eating's down here below. I'd be interested to know what's on the other side of the hill there, berry-wise.
I mean, you could be very curiously. I mean, on the other side of this ridge, there's actually a clear cut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
About 8 years ago. Now, whether or not maybe it was down the river further up and was just going back, who knows?
Once in a while, you can see an old road on the side of the hill, where they cut back and forth because the tree grows different. But might have been a logged out area years ago, and there might be an old road to walk on to get up there. And just there's a couple of lines in there, but from this angle anyway.
But after talking to them, I can definitely say 2 women were here August 17th, 2002. They saw something they couldn't explain. What was it? No.
Yeah.
Generally, when you guys get to come out to a place like this to investigate, you guys consider that part of the reward for doing the research is getting out to places like this?
Yeah.
What I'm hoping for is to get the hard evidence to see a track.
Yeah.
Because once you see a track, it makes a real nice impact on you. It's something like it reinforces your efforts because you know.
Sort of backs
here
up.
it is. Let's find out. You know where he went. What's he doing? Maybe you get lucky. You know, just think if you had another real close encounter. I mean, that's really living, man. Get the old heart going and the adrenaline's pumping. That's fantastic.
Me, I'm still waiting to see one for the first time. I hope so. If they exist, I think I will eventually.
Yeah, you spend enough time out. Probably happen.
There are people who've spent their whole life in the woods, have never seen a damn thing, and there are people who went in the woods for 20 minutes for the first time in their lives, ran into one.
Like buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time.